In nearly every sport, it's defense that wins championships. Just offense will bring fans to the game, but in the NBA, it's defense that will usually determine if you are playing in the month of June. And that's one of the biggest reasons why Golden State and Cleveland got to these NBA Finals. But, basically stating the rather obvious, the better team won. We saw the best player in the world play in LeBron, but the better team ended up prevailing in 6 games. And it was because of the team defense that Golden State showed, especially in quarter number 3 when it was only a 2-point game. And Cleveland, as well as they did to get to the free throw line, didn't always take advantage, but at least they were able to get there and somewhat slow the tempo of the game down. And even though LeBron, again, though he took a lot of shots and he had to, did put up a lot of points and nearly had a triple-double, end up with 32 for the game. Golden State, with their perimeter defense, made life havoc for Dellavedova, for Shumpert, and for J.R. Smith. And I know that J.R. Smith closed out the game strong. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'm not giving J.R. Smith a free pass at all for this series because his play, or lack thereof, for the most part, was terrible. But Stephen Curry, it was not a great shooting series for him. But, like we've seen great players do when even LeBron doesn't have a great shooting night, he seems to hurt teams with the timing of his shots that do go in. And we saw that with Curry in the fourth quarter. Because Curry in that fourth quarter had shot terrible. But then he gets hot from three-point range. And he ends up with 25 points and becomes, by the way, the first player to win his first MVP and an NBA title in the same season since Shaq did it for my Lakers back in the 99-2000 season when the Lakers beat the Pacers. Man, that seems like so long ago. But anyway, getting back to talking about Curry, the perfect finish, and of course you had to feel for his dad Dale, who was a long-time NBA veteran. For Dale Curry and for Michael Thompson, who played for my Showtime Lakers in the mid to late 80s when they were winning championships, it had to be a thrill for those guys to see their sons, the Splash Brothers, deliver Golden State's first title in 40 years. But Curry's play, not only offensively in the fourth quarter, but throughout the game defensively, was a major factor in this game. Cleveland, once again, was facing a Golden State squad that was going to go small. And again, Andrew Bogut, who had been ineffective early on in this series. Kerr, the biggest move of the series, no question, was game number 4, with the Cavs leading the series 2-1 and home court advantage. And we saw Kerr make the move to move Draymond Green, the shooting forward, to the center position. And we saw Andre Iguodala, who was so used to starting at Philadelphia and at Denver, but accepted his role very well with Golden State as a reserve player, but started. And keep in mind, too, that Iguodala, who was named the series MVP, by the way, and well-deserved, by the way, well-deserved, would have had no problem with him or with Curry or even LeBron James, even though he played on the losing team, getting it, because all three really showed so much during these NBA Finals. But Iguodala got the start, and since then, it's been a different series. And it closed out just like the Memphis series did, with 3 straight wins for Golden State after they trailed the opposition 2-1. The smaller lineup, yeah, you're going to give up points from Mozgov, who, Mozgov, took advantage of that with the rebounding and with the points, no question about it. But you're playing a style. If you're Cleveland, that doesn't just suit you for the game, then it's not going to be compatible for 48 minutes. And I said it before, if you look at game number 5, even though I thought playing Mozgov only 9 minutes was ridiculous, just 9, he needed to play a little bit more, but still at the same time, he doesn't need to be playing 30 or 35 if you're trying to match your style with theirs. And considering that in game 4, Mozgov, got 28 points, but at the same time, overall, you're still getting your butt kicked at home in game 4. So Mozgov was going to get his points in this one, but not all the time. And anytime LeBron drove to the bucket, he wasn't going to have space. And that might be the biggest difference in this game, was the fact that the Warriors and the Cavs, who both shot 41%, by the way, around 41% in half number 1, Golden State increased their field goal percentage to about 44, and Cleveland ended up dropping to 39 for the game. Making space with the lineup that you have, which is what Golden State did, made a big, big difference. Made it more compatible for them to make shots. And anytime LeBron was going to drive it, he was going to get fouled, or he was going to be met and not be able to finish it off. And for LeBron, I do give him a free pass. Okay, as a matter of fact, LeBron, probably, even if you're not the biggest LeBron fan in the world, I mean, I think the guy's the best player in the world. But I wouldn't say I'm just a diehard LeBron fan. But I'm going to admit something to you. Probably never been prouder of that guy for what he's done for Cleveland, getting them to the finals for the first time in 8 years. When, by the way, he played during his first tenure there. LeBron really did everything he could, and he's doing it with so much mileage provided by him in these finals. I think the minimum amount of minutes he played in any game was 41. And remember, he played 2 overtimes to start off these finals, too, to compound the issue. Played 47 minutes on Tuesday night. Coach Blatt had no other choice, had no problem with it because, again, you got to ride the horse that's brought you there. Might as well die with your boots on. But you could tell that LeBron, that legs were probably a little bit heavier. Fatigue probably did play in. And that's not an excuse. That's a fact. And he just did not have enough help around him. He just didn't. The backcourt for Cleveland, for the most part, in this series was pathetic. And J.R. Smith, probably, if you're a Cleveland fan, you have to be even more upset because, yeah, he did hit 3 threes in the 42-game stretch, and I will give him that because he's got the talent. That'd probably make me even more upset if I'm a Cleveland fan. Where was this earlier? I mean, the guy even missed 3 free throws tonight, did J.R. Smith. I mean, you're probably thinking, is this why we got the guy? Yeah, he did have some moments of brilliance in these playoffs, but for the most part in these finals, he didn't exist. And, he was greatly, greatly needed, and it put more of a burden on LeBron James. And you can't count on Iguodala to get you those points. That's not his role. And Shumpert, at times he'll look good, and at times he'll look like, sherbet that you eat, like ice cream sherbet, stuff like that. Shumpert didn't always deliver. But Golden State, with Andre Iguodala, 25 points, and handling his role as a reserve player, throughout the season. Didn't start a single regular season game, but did start some playoff games and showed his worth offensively. Not only jump shooting, but also a part of fast breaks, and defensively, trying to be a pest whoever he's guarding. So, job well done to Andre, and proof that, you can be a star, which he was at Philadelphia, make a major impact by playing a lot at Denver. He handled his role very well with Steve Kerr and company, and you saw the result. In terms of free agents, real quickly, as Golden State wins 105-97 to win the championship, Cleveland, they don't have very many of them, and the unrestricted free agents that they have, don't be surprised if they're not around James Jones, as well as Kendrick Perkins, who played very little, and Sean Marion, who didn't play at all in the finals. If he did, I don't know when he played. Those 3 guys could be gone. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they're cut pretty soon. And then you look at the restricted free agents, Dellavedova, who I'm thinking Cleveland will resign, although they'll have to pay a little bit more. And then, Shumpert, he garnered about $2.5 million this past year. Tristan Thompson at $5 million. We'll see if any other team makes offers for these players, and if Cleveland matches. I got to think Thompson, has done enough throughout the season, not just in these playoffs, but for this season to come back. But we'll see if Cleveland can match the price. And then Golden State, pretty simply put, one name, and that is Draymond Green. He is a restricted free agent, didn't even make $1 million this past year. That rookie contract's up, and I don't know how Golden State is going to afford him. They only have 4 free agents, by the way, 2 restricted, and the other one that's of note that's a free agent would be Leonardo Barbosa. So I don't know how Golden State's going to pull it off, or even if they're going to try, because right now the name Draymond Green breeds a lot of stock. First team all-defensive player, world championship to add to that resume. I don't know how Golden State's going to do it. They're going to have to make a major trade somehow, because right now, salary cap space, that's not a possibility. And that might have something to do with Vegas. If you look into those Vegas odds for 2016 for next season, believe it or not, they're already out. I didn't even know it until I was browsing just now. Cleveland's the favorite to win next year at 9-4. Vegas thinks that, Irving and a healthy Love, who does have a player option, but I've got to think he'll come back one more year before really testing the free agent market for those new TV contracts, which will come out in 2016 and 2017, which will greatly change the landscape of the of salaries for players. They're really going to go sky high. But Cleveland's a 9-4 favorite to win it next year, and Golden State and the Oklahoma City Thunder. You got to remember, you have Durant and Ibaka both healthy coming back, and of course Westbrook led league in scoring. Both they and Golden State are at 5-1, and Clippers are at 10-1. So those are the teams with the top odds right now for next season, if you get into all that stuff. For David Blatt, anybody who says that he should be fired because he didn't win the championship this year, you're absolutely on drugs. You're stupid. He got them to the finals in the first year, okay? Not everybody can win the title. Not everybody can get to the title in the first year. So Blatt deserves as much time as he needs. He did a real good job with his team. And then Steve Kerr, remember at this time last year, he was an analyst for TNT, and the former, Arizona University of Arizona guard, of course, former player with the Spurs and with the Bulls. What can you say about this guy? As good a job as Mark Jackson did with the Golden State Warriors each of the past 2 seasons, getting them to a level of competitiveness. Kerr took them to another level. Can't do any better than winning a title in your first year. So Steve Kerr, big congrats to that guy, and congrats to the city of Oakland. They hadn't had a championship in a major sport, I don't think, since 1989, and even that year they really couldn't celebrate it fully because of the earthquake that had happened during the World Series when the A's beat the Giants in the Bay Series. That earthquake before Game 3. But Golden State, you got to give it up to them. First title in 40 years since Rick Barry, and that underhanded shot from the free throw line was one of the trademarks of that team. This team with the Splash Brothers and with a bench that came ready to play, no question the better team won these finals. They won it in 6 over a pesky Cleveland team that just ran out of gas at the end. And to no fault of LeBron, did everything he could, but wasn't meant to be for Cleveland. Still looking for their first world championship in any major sport since the Browns won it back in '64, and that was before the Super Bowl even existed. Yeah, it's been that long, nearly over half a century. Thanks for joining me for our NBA shows, Truth, Justice, and the NBA. We'll be back for more NBA not too long from now. And, of course, keep it right here. We'll continue our college football previews team by team. My next preview is going to be Florida State, the Seminoles. We'll have them coming up soon. Thanks, everybody. Congrats to Cleveland for a nice season, and congrats to Golden State, your 2015 NBA World Champions. That's all for now. Bye.